to ostracize, to shun, to exclude. Those are terms that mean the same thing, basically. And those are terms that are very familiar to Jehovah's Witnesses, even though they may deny it. Why? Because for one thing, they exclude themselves from the world, as they call it, meaning from people who are not part of their group, people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses. But even more so, they shun, they ostracize ex-members, people who used to be Jehovah's Witnesses at one point and decided to leave or were disfellowshipped, were excluded from the religion. So today, we are going to discuss the effects of ostracism, otherwise known more commonly as shunning. Many years ago, when I left the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses, but was still very much interested in spirituality, but the true spirituality, not a religion, not even the Bible, but the true sense of spirituality. I listened to a lot of experts in the matter. And one of my mentors told me one thing that I would never forget and that I was going to keep in my mind for the rest of my life, and I have until now. I've been thinking of that every time I feel like insulting someone. What he explained to me, it's that when you insult someone, when you say a bad word that is directed to someone else, it does not only hurt the person you are saying that insult to, if they hear you, that is. If they don't hear you, it doesn't even hurt them at all. But let's say they are hearing you, insulting them. Well, it does not only hurt their feelings, which obviously it would if they hear you insulting them. It might hurt their feelings somehow. But what it really does, it hurts you. Because when you are insulting someone, those bad words, this negative energy, those negative vibrations are coming out of your body. They're coming out of your mouth, not theirs. So in the process of trying to hurt someone, well, you are really hurting yourself. And this goes hand in hand with what we call the law of cause and effect. When there is a cause, that cause always has some type of effect. When you are insulting someone, the effect of doing this, it's hurting both the person you're insulting, yes, but it's hurting you as well. You're just not aware of it, consciously that is, but it hurts you. So why am I saying this? Why am I telling you this story? Because ostracism, when you ostracize someone, when you shun someone, when you exclude someone from your group, from your family, it does not hurt only them. It hurts you too. Let me explain why I'm saying this. This might be completely new to you, but ostracism has some very nasty, negative side effects. As a matter of fact, studies have shown that when someone is ostracized, when someone is excluded from a group or from another person, even if they actually despise that other person or that other group, it hurts them. And interestingly, the part of the brain that hurts when someone is being ostracized, when someone is being shunned, is the same part of the brain that hurts when we feel physical pain. And that part of the brain is called anterior cingulate. And that's located somewhere on the back of your brain. That area of the brain that suffers, so to speak, when someone feels physical pain. It could be a headache, it could be a toothache, it could be a stomachache. That part of the brain that is affected when you feel physical pain is the same part of the brain affected when you are being ostracized, which is when you are excluding someone, but which by the same token you exclude yourself from as well. So why do we suffer when we are being ostracized? Well, because belonging is a fundamental human need. But I'll go even further because I'm going to give you an example that humans are not the only one suffering from ostracism. So we could say that belonging is a natural being need. It goes way beyond just humans. Let me give you an example. I have two donkeys. One is 16 years old, one is 29 and a half-ish. Is going to turn 30 in 2018. So he's old, he's already up there. And he has arthritis. So that day, he decided that he didn't want to walk. They have a cabin where they spend the night, and nearby the cabin there is a smaller field with less grass to eat, less room to roam around. So I usually take them to the bigger field where there's more grass to eat, more room to roam around. That day, since the older donkey didn't want to walk, I decided to leave him by the cabin in the smaller field, but take the younger one, along with the sheep, to the bigger field. Well, it didn't take long for the younger donkey in the big field to show me that he did not like that at all. He started getting very agitated in a way that I'm not used to see him. I knew something was not right. And then he started to voice his discontentment. So I understood right away that he was telling me, you know what, I don't want to be here because you are ostracizing me from my buddy, the donkey. And I don't like that. Even though he had the sheep. But you see, the sheep is another kind of animal. It's not a donkey. So if he has a choice, he'd rather be with the donkey alone than with the sheep alone. So the sheep was not working for him. He wanted to be with his buddy, the donkey. Now, talking about the sheep. You know how sheep are a group animal. You know, they are meant to be living with a lot of other sheep. Well, I have only one sheep because actually we called him Lucky because he was lucky that we found him, as he was probably going to die. He was found, he still had the umbilical cord. He was only a few hours old, but there was no mother around to be found. So we took him back home and we named him Lucky for that. So the sheep doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have not even another sheep with him. So what he does, well, the donkeys became his family, right? So if I go during the day to check on them or to say hello to them in the field, usually where I see the donkeys, I know the sheep will be too. Well, you see, sheep, they don't like to be ostracized either. Now, let's talk about another animal completely different from the donkey and the sheep. Cats. Cats that are one of the most misunderstood animals, usually by people who don't have cats, who never had cats, who don't know cats, but seeing them on pictures. Well, I have 5 cats here. And nearby the TV, I have 2 chairs that are exactly the same chairs. And if I sit on one of the chairs to watch a little TV sometimes in the evening, it doesn't take long for me to have anywhere between 2 to 4 cats sitting with me on that chair. One would be on the top, 2 would be on the side, and 1 on my lap, maybe. While the other chair across the room, exact same chair, is empty as can be. And I'm looking at that chair, and we are 5 on that crowded chair, while the other chair, exactly the same chair, is completely empty. Well, why? Because cats don't like to be ostracized either. They don't like to be alone. They don't like to be excluded. They don't care about that empty chair. They want to be sitting where I'm sitting to start with, but also where the other cats are sitting. They want to belong. Now, why am I telling you this? Because if donkeys, sheep, and cats don't like to be alone, don't like to be excluded, don't like to be ostracized from their own kind and even other kind, what makes you believe that being ostracized as a human being is going to be good for you? You know, it's interesting that some people like to say that animals act only on instinct, right? Well, okay. Okay. So in that case, how in the world an animal is told by his instinct that being alone, being ostracized, being excluded, it's not good? See, I don't care if it's their instinct or whatever it is. They don't care for being alone. They don't care for being excluded. So again, how in the world then the instinct of an animal is telling them that ostracism is not good for them, and you, a human being, a Jehovah's Witness, are thinking it's okay to ostracize? And in your ignorance, and that makes you more ignorant than a donkey, a sheep, and cats, in your ignorance, you do not know. Well, they do. But in your case, you don't even know that. You don't know that ostracism, shunning your own family members, is not only hurting them, it's hurting you as well. Now, if you're not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you might want to know that Jehovah's Witnesses believe, and they truly believe that. They believe that they are serving a loving God. So the question that I would like to ask you, Jehovah's Witnesses, is how in the world your loving God is pretty much prescribing to you something that's very unhealthy. You mean to tell me that even a donkey knows that being ostracized is not good for him? Being excluded from his own kind, it's not good for him? But your God, Jehovah, does not know that? You see, if you are serving a loving God, how in the world does he tell you, does he command you to ostracize your own family members, knowing full well that it's going to hurt them, that it's not going to be healthy for them? But on top of that, that is going to hurt you, the shunner, the ostracizer. It's going to hurt you too. It's going to be unhealthy for you as well. And that part of the brain that would be affected If you have a bad headache, well, that same part of the brain is going to be affected too, as I explained at the beginning of this video. So ask yourself the question, Jehovah's Witnesses. Ask yourself this critical question. How in the world a loving God would prescribe to me something that is really not healthy at all? Not healthy beyond the fact that it's not healthy emotionally. It is not healthy all the way to your inside, to your bones. It's just not healthy. And whatever's not healthy emotionally anyway, eventually becomes not healthy for the body. So at the end of the day, ostracism is affecting your very health. It's affecting you emotionally, and it's affecting you physically. Now, if you are starting to feel some cognitive dissonance here, because on one hand you truly believe that you are serving a loving God, on the other hand you may have understood by now that it's impossible for your loving God to prescribe such a negative things, to prescribe such an unhealthy thing as shunning, as ostracism. So you may feel cognitive dissonance here, right? Well, you can heal that cognitive dissonance very fast. How about this teaching does not come from your loving God, does not come from the Bible, but comes from man? You see, I don't pretend to believe in the Bible, because I really don't. But I am very open-minded because of what I do for a living. I listen to Christians, I listen to believers, I listen to atheists, I listen to everything and everyone. Because everyone has something interesting to say. And that's what it means when you are open-minded. You're not just focused on one thing and one thing only. And I love to listen to Bible experts, even though I don't believe that the Bible should rule my life. But it does not matter. I do like to listen to Christians. And I do like to listen to atheists as well. And I have, beside it all, my own beliefs. So, when I listen to Bible experts, you know, I don't need to be a Bible expert. I listen to them. They have very, very convincing arguments. They'll show you that shunning, not only the word is not even in the Bible, ostracism or shunning is not even in the Bible, but the principle is not in the Bible either. So, you see, Jehovah's Witnesses, if you do believe in your Bible, because I don't see how you would believe in Jehovah then if you don't believe in the Bible, right? So I want to believe that you still believe in your Bible. Well, according to Bible experts that not only say it, but they'll show you, they'll prove it to you, that shunning, ostracism is not, absolutely not, in the Bible. So with this in mind, if you are feeling some cognitive dissonance here because of what I've just explained to you and what you believe, you know, how in the world could you believe in a loving God that is giving me something very bad for me, very bad for my family members? If you feel that cognitive dissonance, could it be that this shunning has nothing to do with Jehovah, nothing to do with God, nothing to do with the Bible, but everything to do with 7 men in New York? How about that? Have you asked yourself this critical question? Because if not, you should. Because right now, you are shunning your son or your daughter or your parents or your sister or your brother, and you are hurting them for sure, but you are hurting yourself as well. Interestingly, something else that this study shows is that people who are being ostracized tend to be wanting to join any group whatsoever. It could be something very dangerous to them. It could be a person that could be dangerous to them, just because of this fundamental need that they have to belong. And since they are being shunned, since they are being ostracized, they are ready to join anything. So interestingly, knowing this, Jehovah's Witnesses, when your family members come back to this organization that they actually had left at one point, right? Whether they were disfellowshipped or left, they left that organization. And you see them come back, and you like to believe that they came back for Jehovah. Really? Really they did? Well, they may have come back, according to what the study shows, because of that fundamental need to belong. They basically couldn't take it anymore because ostracism is painful. It's painful emotionally and it's painful physically. So next time you see someone come back to Jehovah, ask yourself that other critical question. Really? Did they really come back for Jehovah? Or did they come back because of this fundamental need to belong and to stop the pain of being ostracized? So, anyhow, I've talked enough for today. I hope this video really helped you to think. And I do believe it's a great video with some very good information. So share it, like it, comment, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye-bye now.